Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? And yes, we are live for the third time in 2 days, which is not something that we do very often. And just bear with me, I'm not looking at the camera because I'm just checking to see that I am live where I should be. Yes, nice. All right, I've got me. All right. Guys, we are coming live again today because we have another fantastic sponsors interview for our Heart and Soul Virtual Expo, which is happening in October, on October the 9th, 10th and 11th. And we are really, really excited because, you know, we are sold out for this expo. Our sponsorships are sold out, our stall holder places are sold out, and we are now in preparations to have everything, all set up and running, ready to go for our incredible expo in October. In the meantime, what we are doing is a couple of times a week, we are coming live with our incredible sponsors so that you can learn about them and their businesses. Because honestly, guys, without all these people sponsoring our expo, it wouldn't be happening. They are such a supportive bunch. And actually, I was literally just having a conversation with the lady we're going to interview now, who was saying, you know, the last couple of expos we've been involved in have been absolutely incredible, and everybody has supported each other. So if you are jumping on today, I would love you to say g'day so we can see that you're watching. We've got people watching on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and all over Facebook. We would love to say g'day to you. Now, speaking of saying g'day, I'm going to introduce you to our wonderful guest who we are interviewing today. Now, this is a lady who I can't even tell you how incredible she is. I have known her for a couple of years now. And she runs, I think we're up to about 4 or 5 businesses. I don't know, I've lost count. I'm sure we'll talk all about that. But this is the beautiful Kahlia Mickan from Middle of Nowhere Creations. And I'm not going to necessarily introduce it. I'm going to let Kahlia speak about the evolution as we go through this interview today of her business in Middle of Nowhere. But let's welcome to the stage beautiful Kahlia. How are you, gorgeous?
I'm going very well. Living the dream. How are you going?
Living the dream, sister. I love it. I'm exactly the same.
That's awesome.
I tell you, I have been looking so forward to this interview because you are literally one of my favorite. You know, you're one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. But your life to me is absolutely fascinating. So I want to, and I know we've kind of had, you know, the discussion before because you've been sponsoring our expos for quite a while now, but you've had a bit of you've had a long journey to get where you are now. So tell us a little bit about you yourself, where you live, why you're there, and all that stuff. Let's just find out about Kahlia.
Start from the beginning, she says. So
yeah, start from the beginning.
So yes, my husband and I, we live in northwest Queensland. We own 2 cattle stations up here, and the one that we live on is 3 hours from our little local community of Hughenden. And we raise beef cattle. So we have a beef herd, and we raise beef cattle, and we sell our cattle to both the Australian and to the overseas market. So my husband and I, we got married in 2011. So we're coming up, what will it be? 13? Are we 13? Yes, so 13 years next week is our wedding anniversary. And I was a fresh-faced 19-year-old when we first got married. So I was a vet nurse back in my youth. I absolutely loved I had a deep passion for vet nursing and what I did in that scene. And I loved, you know, like that profession and how I rose to the ranks before I got married, before I was 19. But as soon as I got married, I moved straight here to Dalfarra, where we've lived for the whole time, and literally moved to the middle of nowhere, which is exactly why I called one of my businesses Middle of Nowhere Creations, because we literally live in the middle of nowhere. And so we came here you know, this very, very young, fresh-faced, you know, brand new married couple. We hadn't done any living together before we were married. We got married and then we started our lives together. So it was all about being thrown into the deep end without a paddle and just get in there and just just save yourself from drowning. So we have led an epic life for the first 13 years of our marriage. And like, honestly, I wouldn't change any of it whatsoever. We've been on a roller coaster ride. We've had ups and downs, and as you do when you live on the land, but it has been absolutely epic and I've loved every single moment of it. So we, as Ali was saying, we do have multiple businesses. Some we have wound back, others we are winding up, new ones that we're bringing in. Ali and I were just chatting just before we come live that we've just had Claire and David, her husband, up here for a few nights to visit us, and we were discussing with them what our next business ventures are. So yeah. So we are always transitioning. I'm very, very passionate about embracing new opportunities and very passionate about, you know, like being really, really productive and really abundant in everything that we're doing. So as I touched on earlier, we've got our beef cattle first and foremost. Then we've got an earth moving business, which we, as of next year, will start to wind that back. Earth moving is where my husband has been away contracting. He goes away for weeks on end and leaves me here on our cattle property 100% on my own. We've also got a self-storage company that we founded in 2022. We've got multiple property investments. We've got multiple like other, you know, like digital currency / share investments. We've got a huge portfolio in that sense. We've got 2 e-commerce stores. 5.
That's
6.
2
e-commerce stores. And we've got our Invest Out West podcast, which we absolutely love. What else have we got? I don't really know, but let's stop there, shall we? I can't think of top of my head anything more, but I absolutely love. Yeah.
Did you leave out Middle of Nowhere Creations, or is that was one of your websites that you spoke about?
One of the 2 e-commerce. So
okay,
yeah.
7. So not
7.
many. She's not very busy at all.
No. But this is it. I have a very, very deep passion, if you can't already tell, about being highly diversified. And the reason why I love that is because of the journey that Nat and I have been on as the couple that we are to get us where we are. So when we first got married, we started off with 2. So we had our cattle and we had our earth moving. And what we learned in the early days of our marriage, in the early couple of years of our marriage, both from having a horse accident, myself being in a horse accident, and suffering horrific drought that lasted for years and years, was that we were too dependent on one industry as such. We had the 2 streams of income, but it was still based to one industry, and that was what was opened our eyes to say, hey, we needed to diversify. And since we started down that path, it started with like personal development and then understanding, you know, more and more business strategies and more investment strategies and so forth and so on. But once we started, it was like a snowball effect, and now we're just on this great big roller coaster. And yeah, the sky's the limit. Honestly, the sky's the limit, and we are here to test everything. Like whatever ticks our boxes, we are here to do it.
You just said sky's the limit. It just reminded me of the day you showed up to a lesson of Heart Soul Business Academy with a plane. It always reminds me of that. The sky's the limit, and it literally is for you.
It literally was that day. Yes, yeah. So we do have a little plane, which has been absolutely amazing. Claire and David went for a fly in the plane, and they thought it was the bum diggity. Old Claire, she really pushed herself to go outside of her comfort zone to get in that little buzz box, but she was so thrilled that she went up. So she thought it was absolutely amazing. And it really gave her an insight as to how rugged and how rough our cattle station is here at Dalthara. And so yeah, she absolutely loved it. But yes, came to one of Ali's classes from our little plane. We were actually flying between our 2 cattle properties on that day. And got off the ground up high enough to get some service, and we were cruising. Yeah.
And it was funny because when she's putting all the photos and everything up on Facebook, you know, as you do, you document your time. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, so that's the plane.
That's the plane. That's the buzz box. Yep, our little blue and gold little fixed wing. Yep, it is absolutely
amazing.
Awesome. So yeah.
I have to ask you, because you know, those of you who know, those of people watching who you already know, you know that I call you the Energizer Bunny, because you are like, we just counted 7 businesses, and that's probably not all. I've got to ask, how the hell do you do it all, woman? How?
Yeah. Well, this is it. It's not just me. Like, of course, Nat and I, we work as a team together. Plus, then we've got 2 VAs. We've got a husband and wife team of VAs who work behind us as well. So they do all that time consuming, heavy lifting sort of stuff that goes on that we all know that takes so much time in the business. And then Nat and I, we do all the, well, gosh, I said they do the heavy lifting, but we do that really, really heavy lifting. We do all the deep work, and then they do all the front end, all that time consuming marketing and, customer inquiries, that they handle all of that. And Nat and I, we're the brains behind the business, and we bring all of our businesses to fruition. So yeah, definitely don't do it alone, but yeah, no, we do love what we do. But I'm very, very conscious of managing our time efficiently. And so those who know my story, those who knew Middle and Nowhere Creations as my gourmet preserves brand, I closed that down. Well, I pulled back on the cooking side of things at Christmas time in 2023, purely because not only was I so fatigued and so exhausted within myself, it's because I couldn't spread myself thin enough. I couldn't scale it enough, and I couldn't scale it, enough and fast enough to tick my boxes as to where we want to go moving forward. So that's why I decided to pull back on cooking the gourmet preserves, and we've now pivoted that business into more of a passive business, which is more just solely e-commerce, solely like arm's length. It doesn't consume my time anymore, but it's nearly 100% passive. Yeah.
And I think that's really, really clever what you've done with that too. Although I have to admit that it was literally a couple of days ago, I got out my last little jar of Middle of Nowhere Creations marmalade, and I finished it. And it was one of those situations, Kahlia, when I was trying to get it was one of the little jars. I was trying to get my tongue in as far as I could to lift the bugger out, because I was just like, guys,
that's gold.
It was, and I wish I'd taken a photo of it, but it was so, and I couldn't even, this is even funny, I couldn't even make myself throw the little jar out. I washed it out and kept it.
You got a little souvenir, yeah. And it's interesting that you just touched on this, because this is my next vision. Like, when I decided to stop the cooking, my next vision for Middle and Nowhere Creations was, because one of the most questions I got asked when I announced when I announced I was pulling it back was, how do you make it? Can I have your recipes? Because my point of difference when I was selling the gourmet preserves was the fact that they were just dinky dry recipes. There was no fluff, there was no butter. It was just simple. What you've got in your cupboard is what you use food. And it's so good, she says. and so yeah, people were deeply saddened about my decision. But what we're moving into now is selling the recipes and selling off all of my, I'm trying to dump my brain and all of my tips and tricks onto paper, so then people can then take that into their own home and make the stuff themselves. So for the marmalade that Ali absolutely loved, it's easy as 1, 2, 3 to throw it in a pot and create it yourself. Like, it's so simple and so straightforward, and that's what we're moving into. So we're currently selling off individual recipes, but there is a recipe book coming once I have the time to finish designing it and finish pulling it together. So that's the next big project that we're working on. So yeah.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you have a recipe for mulberry jam?
Absolutely. Straightforward.
Yes,
yep.
Great.
Used to make mulberry jam.
It's in there. We went to the market the other day and we bought mulberry jam, and it's another one of the. It's not quite as good as Middle of Nowhere, but it was one of those, one of these jars where the jam's not lasting long. And we both looked at each other the other day and said, "I think we need to go back to those markets and get more jam because it's not."
Yes. Yeah, no, very, very easy to make. Jam is quite simple. Yeah, to make. It's very straightforward. Yeah.
Simple, but as you said, time consuming. Because another thing I remember, and I remember seeing how exhausted you were too. You'd turn up to lessons in the cookhouse, and you were, you'd been cooking from, what did you say, like 5 a.m. till like 3 a.m. the next morning?
Yeah, so I used to get up at 3. And usually finish like 11 p.m/midnight. So yeah, on my feet for 21 hours. And this is why I was so heavily fatigued. Like, I didn't realize until I stopped how deep that fatigue really ran within my own body. And honestly, even though I've had so many people, deeply saddened by my decision, ultimately it was the best decision for myself and for my life and for my marriage and everything. So yeah. It was
that's the
huge.
thing, and I
It was
think
a little monster.
yeah, and like Helen says, that is nuts. Like that's a long
Nuts.
day for anyone. But I mean, and I'm going to say from my point of view, yes, I was saddened that you weren't like cooking anymore, that you weren't making the preserves and jams and everything. But you know what? I love what you've done. I love the transition. You haven't gone, you know what, stuff. I'm just going to toss it away. I know Susie Manlin loves this word. You've pivoted.
Limited. That we have.
You've pivoted. I want to say it again just to annoy her. Yes, and exactly, Helen. You have to do what's healthy for you and that. Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I'm assuming that's would have given you a lot more opportunity to smell. You go, Susie. No, that was just for you, Manly. She loves it. So I know that people are fascinated with your lifestyle because for the majority of us, in Australia and in the world, we don't understand what it takes to run an outback station like Dalthara.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of insight into that.
Okay, so this is like I'll just go back to a visit with Claire and David because it was a really really that's gold. It was a really really big eye opener to Claire about what life in the dinky die bush really looks like. So I was making a roast I think for Sunday lunch, and I comes out to my pantry cupboard and I'd run out of no, you know what, I was making a mince pie the first night they were here, and I come out to my pantry cupboard to find some grey rocks to thicken it, and there was none there. And I walked back out the kitchen. I'm like, well, there's no grey rocks in this house. There's no ducking down to the corner store to pick up what you don't have in your cupboard because we're 3 hours from town. And so when we live out here, it's really like we live out here for the lifestyle. So we have got abundance, in freedom and in life choices, and we just live every day as we choose. And like obviously we choose to work hard because living on a cattle station isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about hard physical work, and like I used to work like a demon. I was pointing out some of the things that I'd done on our cattle property here when Claire was here, and she was just like horrified, like proper mortified at the stuff that I was doing because I literally used to work like a man. I've pulled back a little bit now because we're a little bit more developed in that sense. But like even just like, well, I'll just rewind a little bit. Like with Nat spending so much time away contracting on our machines and everything, I was here on my cattle property all the time, just on my own. Nobody around. We don't have any permanent workforce. We don't have any close neighbors. Like our closest neighbor is 40 k's away, and so I was just here, just 100% on my own. And just down the road. I literally consider her to be just down the road. Like we're really really close. And I would call her.
And go and visit the neighbors.
That's right. She's half an hour driving away. But like this is it. Like I have learned to be fiercely independent and like fiercely determined within my own mind, and like even right through to having bodily strength and everything, because if something goes wrong it's up to me to fix it. And Claire and David witnessed this. Like I took them on two lick runs while they were up here, and we got to one watering point. And the lick roller was, I'll call it broken as such. So we had to fix it right then, right there. We had to nut it out. We had to fix it while we were there because we were so far from the house, and we had to put this lick out. And so it's a case of, I guess it's just a case of being so self-sufficient and so self-independent. And I mean, it's the lifestyle that we absolutely love. But just going back to being isolated and how you manage that, because the one of the most common questions that I ever get asked is, how do you manage the loneliness? And my response always is that loneliness is never ever an option, because I've got my life so full and so abundant. There's so much going on that there's never ever time for it. Like, yes, we all have, you must like your own company. 100% Lorraine. Like we all have ups and downs. It's part of being a human being and part of embracing the emotions that we have. But it's about using the down times and not wallowing in it, but finding something else to fill that. So there's always some garden that needs mulching, or some veggies that need picking, or some cows that need milking, or some fence that needs running, or something. So it doesn't matter what state you're in, there's always something to do to just to keep you rolling on. There's never ever any time to wallow or to drown in loneliness, or to drown in I've got nothing to do. There's never ever the opportunity for that. Yeah. Yeah.
So what happens if something goes wrong? Like, and please, I'm not putting that out there to the universe. But what does happen if something goes wrong and like Nat's away, you're there by yourself?
Yeah, and this is I did. Yeah, I did talk to Claire about this as well, because she asked the exact same question when I was pointing out, like how far away I used to go from the house, here on my own. And Nat and I, if he can, there's a couple of times where he hasn't been in service, but he will ring every single night and make sure that I am home. But as for me living up here, I know exactly like what to do if something goes wrong and what not to do if something goes wrong. So for example, if I'm at the paddock, like using the chainsaw, cutting timber off fences, or even cutting firewood or something, and say if I was to have an accident with the chainsaw, which I've come very, very close to multiple times, but thankfully I've had like chainsaw slacks on at the time. I don't wear them anymore, but I used to back then. And like when the chain slips and it comes back and it's like as though it's going to cut into you, full well, like I know full well how I would handle that, like provided I was still conscious, of course. And so you've got first aid kits with you all the time. And if something was to go wrong here at the house, we've got an RFD medical, like a Royal Flying Doctor Service medical chest here at the house. So if something happened, then you'd ring the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and you've got access to morphine and antibiotics and all your first aid, and everything is right here. And so you have to know how to use that. And of course, it's second nature to me from being a vet nurse, but you still have to know, how to give a needle to yourself. You have to know how to handle a snake bite if you get bitten by a snake. And so I think I really embrace the lifestyle that I have and the whole living remotely. And to me, it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't mean a thing, like for me to go out and have to do all this stuff on my own. Yeah, I've never ever let that fear rise up and consume me. And there's just another point, and I did touch on this with David and Claire as well, about being here so much on my own. And what do you do if you break down? Like you're talking, like Ks and Ks and Ks away from the house. And like, of course, living remotely, there's no service. The only service we have is right here at the house when you're in Wi-Fi range. Like, what would I do? Say you break down way at the flat and you can't get your vehicle home. Well, you've got to assess it, right? So middle of summer, the first thing that you do is you simply do not walk. Like, you just stay off your vehicle, because what you see all the time is people walk in the middle of the day, and the next thing you know, they've perished because they don't understand what it means to walk in the heat.
Yeah.
But for me, I know what my body can handle, and because I'm already fit, I know exactly where I can go and what I can do. So sometimes I have walked 15 Ks home because I know that my body can handle that. I know what my limits are. Yeah. But the thing is that what we do is, if I was stuck out somewhere and if Nat was away, then that means that he wouldn't be able to reach me that night, and then he would raise the alarm, and then they would know to come and find me wherever I've gone. So there's always different points of contact, and it's just all about understanding how to manage the bush and how to live in it and how to really embrace that, and not letting fear rise up, because it's the fear that puts people into it's fear that puts people into dangerous situations. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fascinated, and you take me back. You mentioned RFDS. You took me back to the TV show, but you're not living a TV show. You're living reality, man. So and even to the point where I know now, we were just having a chat about it briefly before, that you've got bushfires, around you right now. So, on top of everything else, you've got the weather to contend with.
Yes, that's right.
Us Aussies, we know it gets pretty damn dry here, especially in the outback. In the middle of nowhere, bum stuff nowhere, as Susie says.
Yeah, and you're dead right. So bushfires are a part of our life. We have fires every single year, and it just depends on how bad the season is as to how bad the fire is. So last year, so end of 2023, was an absolutely horrific fire season, and we are well and truly prepared for another horrific fire season this year. And as you just said there, we've already got a fire. It's not pressing onto here at Dalfara, but it's pressing onto where my in-laws live. It's pressing onto their property, but it's coming into the paddocks where Nat and I have our cattle running. So it's our problem.
Yeah.
We're going to have no grass, in two of our paddocks very soon. So, but yeah, so bushfires are a major thing, and exactly the same story as what I was saying before, about, like understanding, like how do you manage, like how do you handle a bushfire? We've never been trained to handle a bushfire. We just know how to do it, and we are always the ones on the front line. Like there's no such thing as the rural fire, as the fire brigade up here. It's us. Like we are the fireys. The station owners are the fireys, and so we're always on the front of the fire. And like what we've learned, and it was made very, very real last year, is making sure that we know who is at the front of the fire and who is there, and making sure that nobody is up there who doesn't know what they're doing. We only ever put experienced people at the front of the fire, and luckily there, in one situation there last year, it was Nat and I and another 2 young fellas at the front of the fire, and it was horrific. Like it was very, very scary, but I was so grateful that I was there and not somebody who didn't know what they were doing, because they would have been burnt alive. It was horrific.
Far out. So you have literally just learnt all of this over the last 13 years. You've kind of, self-taught all of this, living on the land. You're just self-taught.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that is so friggin' admirable, because like you said, 19, Kahlia. 19.
Yes. It was 19.
Wow.
Yes.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Now, I actually want to just talk about, if it's okay, because we've touched on Middle of Nowhere Creations, which is the wonderful business that is sponsoring the Expo. But I wanted to just quickly touch on another business that you have, and it's crypto, right? So, how did you get into that?
Okay, so crypto, I'll just rewind a little bit, because there was a bit of a lead up into crypto. So when we realized that we needed to diversify, we started looking into these different investments, not just business, but more investments. And it took us a few years to start to understand, how money works and how we can make every dollar count, and how to grow and build our own mindset around, investments and development and such things. And we started in the property space first and foremost. So we went out and we bought a number of residential houses and industrial blocks and such things. And then as we started to get more and more, we could see, like, even though we've got like a lot of scope at this point, we could still see that the banks were eventually gonna close the door on us and say, no, you've got enough overhead. We're not going to lend you any more money. And so in 2021 was when the crypto market was going through the roof. It was in a bull run market at the time, and we were watching crypto, because we were fascinated by the investment and by the financial gain that you can get out of cryptocurrency. And we were watching, and we were hearing all the time about people using crypto as their own banks. And we were so intrigued by this. And we're like, well, how can this work? And anybody who isn't in the crypto space, like your mind is just swamped. You cannot get your head around how it works, or the potential that's behind it, or how to push through the fear that's behind it. Or how to understand how to use it to its best potential. So, and at the end of 2021, we invested in a cryptocurrency course, which we're still part of now. And we started right at the bare basics. So we started firstly on security and on understanding how the crypto market works, and understanding how to invest in crypto for the long term. We didn't jump into crypto to make it for the get rich quick schemes. It's for long-term wealth. That is our crypto vision. So 2021 rolled around, and again, like I said, it's really amazing once you understand it. It really is. So 2021 rolled around, and we're at the peak of a bull market, and that's when we sort of started to dabble in it. And so we've ridden the crypto wave for the last 3 years to where we are now, and now we've got a 6-figure plus investment into the cryptocurrency space, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Crypto we're in about stage 3 of the bull phase as we speak, so we're on the rise up right here, right now. But what our vision is exactly what I said, that cryptocurrency, our crypto portfolio, is going to become our bank, because we want to grow more and more in our real estate, investment side. And we know, like I said, the banks are going to slam the door in our face before too much longer, and we're going to have this huge crypto pool to pull on to then grow our assets. And the other thing about crypto, I'm not sure if I've actually touched on this a lot in my other interviews, is another part of our vision with our crypto portfolio. So I'll just rewind a little bit and just say, like I just touched on that, we've got 6+ figures in our crypto portfolio as we speak. And what our ambition is in this bull run, so by the end of next year, is that we will have performed a 10x on that portfolio. That's our vision. That's our ambition for that particular portfolio. And so and it's all about understanding how the market works, understanding how to make every single dollar work over and over and over and over again. And so we've got lots and lots of strategies in place, but that's our ambition. But what we also want to do is, just going back to our station life and what we do here on the property, in the heat of the drought, right, we had because everyone was just proper on struggle street, like the drought years were horrific. And there's a charity organization out there, this is the one that supported us, that there is multiple out there, but the one that came and supported us was called Blaze Aid. And originally they were set up to help cockies cockies is a word for farmers, but help, property people who have been impacted by bushfires. That they started down, like in Victoria, in them places where the bushfires, like in all them heavily forested areas are horrific. They started down there, and of course, in our drought years, it was in the middle of the year. They could see, most of Queensland was suffering big time. So they said, right, we've got to expand our services further. And they come up here and they offered their service to a lot of people on the land up here. And we had three men come and help us for weeks on end. They were here just living our life with us and just helping us, however they could. And they also, another team, there was stacks more, there was like 10 or something people at my in-laws place, and they helped them down there for multiple weeks as well. And what we saw back then was these people volunteering their time and their energy and their efforts, and all these massive donations coming in to make this Blaze Aid organization what it was, to support us as farmers who were having a very, very tough time. And so when Nat and I started to get some momentum behind us, our first thought is that we need to give back. And so going back to a cryptocurrency portfolio, this is what we're bringing into it as well, is we want to start to be able to give back. We want to become financially free, right? So that we can put people on here, like managers on to live on our properties and run them for us. So then Nat and I, we can then take ourselves and offer our own personal services to other people who are really, really struggling. And a cryptocurrency portfolio will fund that. So we can then go and give back to everybody and really, really start to share the love and really, really give back. So this is I was going to say a long term, but it's not exactly long term. Like, we're sort of talking, within 10, 15 years, we want to be really, really supporting people and giving back more and more, and to have that freedom, that financial freedom, to actually be able to go and do that. And our cryptocurrency portfolio is propping that up. Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you what, Kahlia, I already had a massive amount of respect for you, and you have just elevated that by 10. That is beautiful. Congratulations, you've made me speechless. I don't know what to say. Let's look at what other people are saying. Money equals choices, and Claire's saying it. You are amazing, Kahlia, and that's the one thing I love about you, is you're so what's the word? You're just so humble.
Yeah.
So humble with it all.
But I think the life on the land has taught us that. I think that the humility comes from you do learn to be humble from hard times, and I think that also comes, as you would know as well, it comes with a mindset, like comes with a personal development journey. Like it's all part of it, and I guess like you say, it's all added into who we are and what we want to do and where we're going. It's all part of the story, isn't it? It
is, and it's where we've come from. Like you say, there's a reason that you have that vision of giving back and all of that. So it's all about the story, our life story, and where it's led us. And that's the thing I love about you. You started so young at 19, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't grow up on the land either, did you?
Well, Mum and Dad, they had 200 acres on the edge of Claremont, so central Queensland, where we had lots and lots of cows, and Dad had a feedlot, and Dad was a builder at the same time. And then they had a second property where they also ran beef cattle. So technically, yes, I was raised with cows, but wasn't raised with the remoteness that come with living up here at Dalfara. Yeah.
So that's been the learning experience for you, hasn't it?
Yes. It has been. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is
Wow.
it. Like, I mean, living up here, and Claire would be able to so relate to this, is that it's simply not for everyone. Like I have witnessed in the 13 years that I've been here, lots of young people come in and cannot handle it, and they've moved. Like they get spooked. Like that's exactly what they get spooked by the isolation, and they can't hack it. And then you say, well, like I'm 3 hours from town, and people just shake their head in disbelief. Yeah.
Yeah, and in all honesty, that would be me. I wouldn't be able to hack it because I'm a beach bum. I got to have the water. I got to have the beach near me. That's how I am, man. So for me to go and live to visit is one thing. Because I remember one day we went to Uluru, but on the way we went to Coopedi, and we went on an 18-hour trip, right, a guided tour, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. It really was.
We've been there.
To the point where, and you would experience this, and I consider this so lucky that we were coming home late at night, and the guy just pulled his car over and goes, right, now there's nothing around, there's no animals, there's nothing around, go and lie on the road, it's a dirt road, go and lie on the road, look up in the sky, and I'm going to turn the lights off, and no one say a word. It was the most phenomenal experience I have ever had. It was surreal. And do you get that type of thing every day, every night?
Every night, because this is it. Like we are it. Like the lights that we have is our own. And we see shooting stars like every single night. Like it's nothing to see shooting stars. And like if there's some eclipse or something happening, we always see it because it's just 100% pure darkness here. Like it's so it's magical, really. Where we live, like we are truly we're truly privileged. Like that's how I see it. We're so privileged to live where we do and to see what we see, and to embrace the lifestyle that we have. Yeah. Yeah.
And isn't that amazing? That's another thing that I really respect about you. You know, and I don't know if you've said it, if we were talking about it before, you've said it here, but you said how you said to Claire, when you come up here, like it's basic. You know, there's no bells and whistles.
Exactly. It's
simple as, but you learn to love it, don't you? It's magical. And same thing. I remember, going on an outback tour, I think we went to the Pink Pub, or I don't know what it was called, but it was so basic. But I loved it. Yeah. I couldn't live it.
Yeah. And this is it. Yeah.
But I love it.
And this is it. Like we're so in touch. We're so in touch with everything, really. Like we don't have anything that's mainstream here, so we've got our standalone solar system. So if the batteries won't run out of power, like yes, we've got a backup generator, but that's our power. There's no power line running to our house, and there's no using anything fancy, anything luxury. What's the right word I'm chasing? I can't think of the right word, but anything that's convenient once the sun goes down. So no electric kettle, no using the iron after, like, we sort of say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so you're not draining the batteries, right? So no iron, no kettle, no microwave, no electric fry pans. It's all simply back to basics. Like, yes, I've got those things to use when the sun is shining, but as soon as the sun's not shining, then all of that stops. And Claire's just lived through this. No alarm clock, just cares. I'll have to come back to that. Please remind me to come back to that comment. Yeah.
Please do.
And so like no air conditioning. Like we're truly in touch with, I don't want to use the word nature because it sounds a bit hippie-esque, but that's what we really are. We're really, really in touch with nature. We're really in touch with the atmosphere that we live in, like, yes, we've got ceiling fans, and yes, my house is a relatively cool house, like from my point of view, but there's no frills. It's just all back to basics. Like, and even the water here at the house, right? We've got like a water system where it's all siphoned down to the house, like an amazing water supply, but it's back to basic. There's no pumping, there's no filtration. It's just 100% pure and exactly what it is. And like, it's just, everything is just like right at our fingertips. And like whenever, I can't remember what expo we were in, but the hot water system, we've got a gas hot water system here in the house. It decided to chuck it in. So I was here on my own. I didn't know how to fix it. Mind you, I should have known how to fix it, but I didn't. I didn't actually even do anything with it. Nat fixed it.
Don't you know everything? What the heck?
No. I should have looked into that. But but he picked it when he got home. But we've got a backup system. So there's a donkey over at the what we call our quarters shower over the flat there. So you go and light the donkey, a wood fire under a gas water bottle tank. Yeah. So you got a backup. You know, there's no ducking down to the shop to get what you need. You have to have these backups. You know, and so yeah. So it's really we're really in touch with how we live, and we're really saved by the donkey. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so really in touch with how we live. Now, let me go back to Claire's comment. What was that? Don't have alarm clock. Yeah, no alarm clock, just cows.
No alarm clock, cows, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll touch on that. So the reason why Claire said that is we have our own milking cows here at the house. So we milk. I milk all of my own fresh milk. You know, like, yes, I do get bottles of milk from town, you know, due to the convenience of it, and because we can't always milk every single day. So I do have, bottles of milk at certain times, but most of the time I milk my own fresh milk. And so when Claire was here, the calves get locked in. It was actually Sunday morning, so I was resting. Let's just say I was resting on Sunday morning.
Hang on,
so I didn't get up as early as what I normally would.
Do you actually rest? Do you actually rest, Kahlia?
Yes, I do. On a Sunday morning when we're at home here, yes. I slept in, shall I say. Anyway, so Claire and David, they were camped over the flat there in the caravans, and my poor old cows in the flat, because I was running later than I normally was, they were onto me. Like, they were just singing out, and like they're just like foghorns. They were proper onto me, and so they woke poor old Claire and David up, because she was just down there just hollering her heart out, wondering where on earth I was, telling me that I shouldn't have been having a sleep in on a Sunday morning. And it was about 7 o'clock or something. Yeah. So that was Claire. That was Claire's alarm clock on Sunday sleep-ins. That was Claire's alarm clock on the Sunday morning. Yeah.
I see everyone's like, hang on, is your sleeping in the same time as our sleeping in? Yeah, that's a good question. What is your version of sleeping in? Because my version of sleeping in is like till 10 a.m. and I bet that's not yours.
Goodness no.
Goodness no. You've just gone, Ellie, you lazy bugger, haven't you?
I pushed my sleeping in till like 7-ish, yeah, usually 7-ish, yeah. God, on the rare ones that we get.
I'm with you, Helen. 7 a.m.
7 a.m. is sleeping.
Not even close.
7 a.m. is a beautiful sleeping.
All right, so this weekend, if I get a phone call from Kahlia at about 7 a.m. on the Sunday morning going, wake up, woman, come get stuff done. I'll know why.
Oh, dear, my face. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Fun we having these interviews, I tell you, life is never boring.
Mate. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. There's a comment there from Claire saying she says, I thought one was having a calf. Yeah, poor old Claire, but that's what she thought was going on. That one of the girls was having a baby, but no, she was just onto me, like proper onto me. Yeah, get down here and get my baby back.
Yeah, far out, man. That's okay. Yeah, 7 a.m. is a sleep-in. Wow, the reality of this just is hitting home right now. That's only on certain, like, usually that's only like one Sunday every month that we would get that. So yeah, every other time it's just up at the normal time. Yeah. Yeah. She actually let herself sleep in, fellas, guys, ladies.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
And it was because David and Claire were here that we didn't go anywhere on Sunday that I got my sleep in. So yeah.
There you go. Claire and Dave, it's all your fault.
Yeah.
The cow was moving at you. Oh my God. Oh, you gotta have fun, don't you? Kahlia, This has been friggin' incredible. I love talking to you. I could talk to you for hours on end, seriously. Now, let's go back to just quickly Middle of Nowhere Creations. You need more visitors. Yeah, that's right. And who want it? Wait, hang on. Before I say that, because Helen put up a comment, there's another business for you. Get the city folk like me to experience the outback and properly turn off. There you go.
Turn
There's
off.
another.
Yeah.
Not that you need an eighth business, but there's an idea for you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Claire and I, we were discussing this about having an HSBA retreat up here, but she'd be proper back to basics. Like, there is no frills.
Oh, dude, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And then my mind goes, yeah, but how people are going to have to do this and get there. My mind went into the logistics because I'm an overthinker. And then I just went, stop overthinking it. Let's just, because I reckon it's a bloody good idea.
No frills whatsoever. It'd be the best retreat anyone would ever have. Yeah.
Hell yeah, it would. Yeah. Well, you know, maybe I'll have to get up there real soon and, you know, get rid of that FOMO that I had from going up there and give people in person, because damn, girl.
Absolutely.
That's gonna happen. Anyway, you know what I'm just going to ask? What is people who are watching this and they're going, this woman is incredible. What's one piece of advice that you would give to fellow business owners or to just people in general and how to live their life?
In what? 4 words. Overwhelm is the opportunity. 100% every time. Yeah.
I love that. Overwhelm is the opportunity. Oh, that's really cool. I love that.
Because like I am very, very passionate that there are opportunities everywhere. Like to me there is no excuse to not be able to tap into opportunities, and that's exactly what we've done. This is why we've got so much, because we love the opportunity that comes with everything, and like they are everywhere. And just going back again, we'll touch on again about Claire's visit here. This is what we were talking about while she was here. Is that here I am, I live in the middle of nowhere. All I've got is the internet. Like I don't have I shouldn't say any, I don't have many face-to-face interactions. It's very, very rare for me to interact with other people in real life. And here I am, middle of nowhere, and yet I've got this abundant portfolio that I absolutely love to manage. And so the opportunities are just absolutely everywhere. No matter who you are or no matter what you do, there is always, always some opportunity out there to embrace and to really, really feed that, really tap into it. And I think the other thing, I'll just touch on that too, is about opportunities is to never, ever, ever, ever let somebody else be in your mind and say, you can't do that. You're not worthy of that. You're stupid. What are you doing that for? No, like that's just not an option. You do what ticks your boxes, not what ticks Joe Blogg's boxes, because Joe Blogs isn't living your life and the opportunity is yours to take. Yeah.
I love that. You've said it all. I think that is the perfect place to say thank you. You are one incredible lady. I can't wait to hear more about your business journey and what you're doing with Middle of Nowhere Creations and your other businesses within the Expo, guys. Honestly, like Claire says, love this, Kahlia. We've got hand claps because you are amazing. Thank you so much, beautiful lady. We look forward to hearing more. And for those of you watching, if you haven't already gone to the Middle of Nowhere Creations website to check it out and everything that Kahlia has on offer, we've actually put that in the comments. So be sure to go and check it out. Because you'll love it, trust me.
And if you want to see the station live, go to YouTube and look for Life on the Lick Run. That's where you'll see most of our station life on the Lick Run. And like, yes, it's mostly about our beef cattle herd, but my husband does put in there other stuff about our life. Yeah, so it's just YouTube and just look for Life on the Lick Run, and you'll find so much there. You'll find lots and lots of different lots and lots of different stories on there, and you'll even hear more about like how we got to be here at Dalfara and what our lives look like. He's touched on all of that, and go there, watch us on YouTube, and you'll find out so much more. And then if you want to know more about like our investment mindset, passive income space, Invest Out West podcast on Spotify is the place to go.
Love it, girlfriends. Absolutely love it. Thank you, beautiful Kahlia. I'm just going to pop you down in the waiting room, but don't go anywhere. Hang about.
Yep.
And I'll see you in a minute. You keep living the dream.
Thank you.
Wow. I can't even talk because I get so fascinated talking to Kahlia. Guys, I just want to say thank you for all those who have joined us in this incredible interview today. We have another interview coming up tomorrow morning with the beautiful Jenny Lim, who is going to talk about her business Regen You and Golden Drops. So if you'd love to join us, that'll be at 10:30 Adelaide time tomorrow morning. As I said, next week we have a couple of more sponsor interviews, and we have a few each week leading up into the Expo. You can now, even though the stall holder and the sponsorship places are sold out, you can still join the Expo for free as a visitor. Now, you don't have to leave it until October either, because even though the Expo is running on the 9th, 10th and 11th of October, if you join the group now, which we have put that in our pinned comment, you will see that in the group, all our stall holders are busy setting up their stall albums. When you can go and have a look, you can check out what they do. Kahlia has all her, she's got 3 businesses and, all the things that she's advertising there. You can go and check out those stall albums now. And you might never know, you might find a bargain. You can do some shopping. We would love to have you join the Heart and Soul Virtual Expo for free as a visitor. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We will see you again, as I mentioned, tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Adelaide time for another sponsors interview. See you then, guys. Bye.